Hello, this is Adam Weinberg with the State Water Resources Control Board, Division of Water Rights. Today I'm here with you for a tutorial on the Shasta Non-Consumptive Use Certification Form. Now, non-consumptive use form is for folks who are diverting in a manner that does not decrease downstream flows. For example, a small hydropower use that returns water to the stream. If that situation doesn't apply to you, but you need to fill out a different form, we have corresponding tutorials for each of the other forms. Some disclaimers before I begin. This video does not supersede the order or the regulation, and viewing this video isn't a replacement for reading the letter that you received, or reading the text of the regulation itself, or for viewing our helpful hints for curtailment response on our website. The purpose of this tutorial is just to show you how to log into the form and how to fill it out. If you've already completed one or more of the forms, this may be recap. But bear with me, and we'll reach the form-specific information soon. The first step we need to do is get to the website itself. The website address was printed on the curtailment order letter that you received. You can also see it here at the top of my screen. Once you enter this address into your browser, you'll know that you're at the right place, and you see the same thing on your screen that I have on my screen right now, the Water Right Form and Survey Submittal portal. First thing we'll do is we'll scroll down to the bottom left corner here to the Login Here button, and we'll click it. This will bring us to the login screen. Here we'll put in our login ID and our password, also known as a reporting identifier. The login ID and password were provided to you on the curtailment order letter that you received. If you have an existing water right, this would also be the RMS account information that you'd use to file your annual reporting. So I'm going to put in my information here. This is my login ID, and then I'll enter my password. Once we've entered our information here, we'll click the login button. So if you have not logged into our water forms portal before, the first thing that you'll see is a screen that asks you to add an email address. Now for that screen, you can actually enter any email address. So it's okay if you don't have an email address yet. You can use, for instance, the Shasta Drought at waterboards.ca.gov email address that you would use to contact us with any questions about your form or about the regulation. Once you get through that screen, it will bring you to the Water User Dashboard. This page provides you with all the different forms that you can fill out with respect to the regulation. This includes the non-consumptive use certification that we'll be reviewing today. It also includes the other forms that you would fill out if you need to file an exception for minimum livestock diversion use or health and safety needs. If you received the order imposing water right curtailment and reporting requirements in the Scott River watershed for water rights associated with the parcels listed in Attachment A, you will also need to fill out the Scott Parcel Curtailment Certification and Diversion Information Form, this one right here on my screen. If you have received a different order, you may need to fill out the Scott Shasta Curtailment Certification Form. Once you select a form that you want to fill out, in our case, the Scott Shasta Non-Consumptive Use Certification Form, we'll follow this over to these two buttons here. The Survey button form, which will allow you to actually fill out your form, and then the Summary button, which will allow you to see the information that you filled out on your form, but won't actually allow you to enter information. So now we're going to click on the Survey button. This takes us to the introduction screen. There's some useful information on this page that you should read. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to skip that. Click Next. This takes us to the contact information screen. This is where you'll enter your name and contact information. It'll allow us to contact you if we have any questions about your form. Once you've done so, you'll click Next to get to the next screen. There's also this Previous button. Both the Previous and Next button allow you to navigate, for instance, to the previous screen or to the next screen. Anytime you click Previous or Next, it will save the information that you enter into the form. If instead you close the browser before hitting previous or next, the information you enter onto the form might not be saved. You might have to re-enter it again. I'll press next. This brings us to the description and certification page. This is where we'll describe the purpose of our diversion and certify that it is non-consumptive. So first we need to select which of these following situations applies to us. This first option would say that you're using it solely for hydropower. This next one would say that you're using it for fish and wildlife purposes. This next one says that you have a substitution of diversions so that you can release water in one place from storage, continue to divert for non-consumptive uses in another place. This requires a number of different approvals, which you can read about here. If you have some other type of non-consumptive use diversion, you would click this button. Now, after selecting any of these options, you will then need to describe your diversion here and explain and provide evidence showing that it is non-consumptive. It will not decrease flows in the applicable watershed. Once you've provided that description, you can click Next. And this brings us to the Attachments page. This is where you can attach any information that will support your certification that your diversion is non-consumptive. You would click this button to say Choose Files, which will allow you to select the file that's on your computer. Then you would click this button that says Upload to upload it to the form. Then you would explain here what, if any, documents you've attached. If you have no documents to attach, you can skip this screen and click Next. This brings you to the Submission page. Here you'll enter your name as the person signing and your relationship to the legal right holder. If you are filling this out for yourself, you would say that here. Or if you are a family member or have a business relationship, you would enter that description here. This is required information as designated by these little stars here. So put my information here. This next button here, this checkbox says that I certify under penalty of perjury that all information entered into this form is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. You need to add all this information, otherwise it will not allow you to submit your form. If you get to this point and you realize that there's information that you want to change, like before, you could press Previous to get to the previous pages, and then click Next to navigate back to the screen. Then you can click Finish and Submit. This brings you to the Summary page. They'll provide you with a summary of all the information you entered into the form. If you click this button that says Show as PDF, it'll allow you to download a copy of the form for your own records to your computer. You can also then select Return to Dashboard. So if you enter and submit a form, but then you realize later that there's information you need to change, you can do that by coming back to the Water User Dashboard, coming back and clicking the Survey button, and that will reopen the form. If you do change any information on your form, you'll want to make sure that you navigate back to the Submission page and resubmit. Otherwise, any information that you change may not get to us. For now, that ends our tutorial. If you have any additional questions regarding your form or about the regulation, you can feel free to contact us at the Scott Shasta Drought at waterboards.ca.gov email address or at the phone number we have for this regulation. I hope you found this useful, and I appreciate you taking the time to learn how to correctly fill out your form. Thank you, and have a good day.